All right, all right, all right. What's good, all my Ruthless Addicts, fans, friends, everybody out there? How's everybody doing this evening? I want to thank you all so much for tapping in and tuning in to this Ruthless conversation. Tonight, I am bringing you guys a man with many titles, and I do not exaggerate when I say many titles, okay? With that being said, I would like to present to some and introduce to others the one and only Lester David Greene.
Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I absolutely appreciate it.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. I'm excited about this interview.
Absolutely. I'm excited with you. I think I'm a little nervous, as we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, because you do this. So we're going to test my skills tonight. Tonight is a training day for me.
Nah, we just gonna have a conversation. I love your energy. You'll be great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. So with that being said, who is Lester David Greene?
Well, I'm an ordinary guy, everyday guy, actor, producer, author, rapper, and I'm just a kind man at heart.
Absolutely, absolutely. So listen, with that being said, let me tell you something. I was going through your extensive resume, and I know the people are looking at me go through these different slides. If it would literally take us a month to get through every single thing that you have been a part of. You're not only, just like you said, you're not just an actor, you're a producer, a writer, a rapper. Like, this man holds many titles, you guys. So we're gonna dive into one particular title, one particular film, and I want to address this because you're now connected to the Ruthless family. See, I don't know if you realize that the character that plays Lim, Zephaniah Terry, he was
Yeah,
actually in Tyler Perry's Ruthless,
ruthless.
which is what this whole thing is based off of. So talk about 6 degrees of separation. But what was it like, just being a part of this film? Because it also, Out on a Limb, also consisted of Jamal Woodard. So how was that? What was that vibe like?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I know who you're talking about. I'm familiar with the show Ruthless, of course. And I just remember seeing a casting notice for the film Out on a Limb. And I submitted an audition. And I wasn't expecting to hear anything back because sometimes as actors, we'll submit an audition and then we don't hear anything. So I just forgot all about the audition. And then I would say maybe a week or two later, I get an email from a casting director, and the casting director says, "Hey, listen, Lester, we'd like to cast you as a doctor in the film Out on the Limb." So they sent me my scene only. So I don't even know what all the other scenes are about. Of course, I've seen the film now that it's out, but before it came out, I only knew my scene because that was the only scene that they sent me. So as actors, sometimes you'll be a part of a film, but you won't get the whole script.
Right.
So it was interesting having to just play off of whatever they gave me as opposed to knowing the whole story and the whole script. But I enjoyed playing the doctor. I'd love to play a lead doctor at some point in my career where the film or the TV show is centered around my character as a doctor. So we'll see. I'm putting it out there in the universe.
Absolutely. Listen, I see it. I definitely see it happening. Like I said, your resume is extensive. But for those people that are new to Lester Greene, tell us, how did you become interested even in acting? And was that your first passion, or was there something prior to that you were passionate about?
Well, I used to be a baller. I used to play hoops. And
Wow.
I had hoop dreams. My brother played ball. And so I played varsity basketball for 1 or 2 years. And I just didn't make the cut. I wasn't good enough to go to the next level.
Hmm.
So I told myself, okay, I want to go to college, but I'm not good enough to play college ball. So what else can I do? So as a kid, I was always good at spelling and writing. So I said, I'm a major in journalism. So I went to Queens College, majored in journalism, and I found that I really like talking to people, sort of like what you're doing right now.
Right.
I
Right.
love talking to people. I love interacting with people. I love asking questions. So I pursued that. And then after I graduated from Queens College, I started rapping because my brother was a rapper. So that's when I started making music. And then from rapping, I started acting. So that's how the acting thing came about. Yep, that was one of my albums. No Bush, Straight Dicks. That was one of my
Okay.
albums.
Listen, I told y'all this man has many titles.
Yep.
Rapping, acting. Okay, so you discovered you done your thing in acting. Now you take on this whole new persona of producer director. Oh my god. How Tell us the difference. How different was it for you to, yes, you can act, it's absolutely natural,
Mhm.
but producing and directing, how did that come about and
So
why?
yeah, no, that's a great question. So I have a great story regarding that. So I produced this short film called I Got a Call Back. It's a comedy. And I remember being a producer on that project. And I was supposed to be producing with this other producer. At the last minute, the day before we started shooting, that producer pulled out, left me alone, stranded. So I had to produce the whole project, meaning I had to fund the whole project.
Right,
And
right,
then I also had to help direct it. So it was challenging because I was leaning on that other producer to sort of help me
right,
produce this film. I got a call back. So when that producer dropped out, I had to do it on my own. And so I was making mistakes, screwing up left and right, but I learned from it. And I'm just happy that the project came out nicely and we
right.
were able to get into some film festivals. And so I just chalked it up as a learning experience.
Absolutely. Listen, I salute those that are in the independent circuit, the film festival. And I also salute the writers, directors, producers, actors, everybody that's affected by the strike right now. Um, Independently though, does that kind of give, because I'm trying to really understand the whole strike as an independent actor or producer writer, does that give them the right permission to continue to act or continue to produce, give out productions, or is there like a strict law that you can't do it whatsoever?
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. So I'm FICOR. And so when you're FICOR, that means you can do non-union work and union work.
Got you.
So I'm not really affected by this strike. But again, my heart is with everybody because we're all artists at the end of the day. So I'm pulling for everybody, but it's not affecting me directly. So I'm able to still work on non-union projects because I have to stay creative. That's just who I am. It's in my nature. I can't just sit back
Right,
and do nothing.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah.
But I want to say something though, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So I was Googling your page and you were talking about 6 degrees of separation. And I think that I used to work for the same security company that you work for right now. So I have to ask you, what's it like being an interviewer, hosting, and giving reviews, and then also working a 9 to 5 job as a security officer? Do you find it challenging? Is it difficult? Do you love it? Talk to us about that.
So I'll say this. I actually no longer do the security.
Oh,
I'm a veteran, a 100% veteran. So that
oh,
allows me the liberty, and I'm grateful to God, but that allows me the liberty to kind of work and do as I please. I can do, if I want to do gig jobs, I'm not embarrassed to say I'll do a gig job because I like to keep moving. If you don't move around, you'll definitely waste what you have.
right.
So with that being said, talking to people, I'll tell you this: growing up, I was a shy person. And then I went into the military, and you had to express yourself. And then I started working with Department of Corrections, where you couldn't be intimidated by inmates. So it just became a little bit easier. I still get nervous talking to people. It's not because I don't want everybody, oh my God, she messed up. I just want to get the message out. I want people to know who it is that I'm talking to. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't receive the acknowledgement that they deserve, especially background actors, you know, any the stunt people, the makeup people, they don't receive that acknowledgement. And so I was like, I kind of have a little small platform. I can kind of talk to people. And like I told you, I'm from Florida, Miami, Florida. So I get a little loud, I get a little excited sometimes. And so I have to dial myself back. But overall, I'm having a good time, and it's definitely fun. And I'm grateful for people like you who allow me to have this conversation, or this type of conversation with you. So thank you. Turning it
Yeah.
back to you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Hey, thank you for your service, though. Seriously.
Thank you.
My
Thank
father,
you.
my father was in the Army, and my two brothers were in the Marine Corps. So I have
Nice.
to let me ask you one other question, though.
Sure.
Were you in the military during the beginning of the pandemic? And if you were, what was that like? That must have been challenging if you were.
I actually got out a long time ago. I got out right before 9/11, literally
Okay.
right before 9/11.
Okay.
And with the Department of Corrections, I actually retired from the Department of Corrections um 3 years prior to the pandemic. So I'm
Oh,
just gonna say God has been good to me. He's been putting me in places and taking me out of situations, because he knows things are gonna happen. So I got blessed. I got lucky. You know what I mean? To not
yeah.
have to deal with a lot of stuff that we're dealing with now.
Right. Amen. Amen. Kudos to you. I'm glad that you're walking in your purpose.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, let's address this connector. Tell
Mhm.
the people why they call you the connector.
Well, it's funny. I never called myself that. I always feel like if somebody coins a nickname for you, then it becomes official. But you can't just call yourself something unless somebody gives you that name. So
Right?
I had a friend by the name of Thomas Medelsky. He's a comedian out of New York. And I remember one day we met up, and he was trying to get into acting. So I started giving him all these referrals, and I was telling him about all these people he can connect with to pursue his acting career. So he was just amazed that one, I was helping him, and then two, he was just saying, Lester, nobody really does that. Do you realize, Lester, you're a connector? And I said, wait, did you just create that term? Is that something new? He said, no, it's a real term. Look it up. So I went home and I looked it up, and I said, I am a connector because I'm always connecting people. I'm always trying to make connections. I'm always trying to help people. And so
Mhm.
the nickname just stuck with me. So they call me the connector.
Hey, the title suits you very, very well. And again, looking at your acting resume, your directing resume, your producing resume, you've literally connected, not only connected with people, but you connected people to other resources. So that title suits you absolutely, absolutely.
I appreciate it. I don't know if you remember this though, Takia, but I was telling you about my friend Nas. I
Right?
told you to check out her movie Gerald's Hands, and I
Yes.
was saying, "Oh, you need to interview her." But
Yes. Oh,
again, right? It's just so natural for me to make a connection. So
exactly.
yeah, so you definitely need to check her out. And then my friend Andrew R. McAllister, he's an incredible actor out here in Atlanta. He stars in Gerald's Hands. And then you got Robert Sear, he's a writer, screenwriter. And then you got my friend Marcus Wilson, rapper. All these people you definitely need to have on your show. I'm telling you, wonderful
Trust me.
people.
Trust me, I am definitely working on it. I am definitely working on it. I'm looking at these names and I'm Googling these people and I'm just like, oh my God, connections for real.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out Sam C. Smooth and Bobby D. They're hosts. They do what you do. They have the CCI radio show. They will be great guests on your show. Miss Michelle, she is doing some big things. She's a filmmaker, producer, actor, director out of Las Vegas. She would be a great guest on your show. So you could just pick from
Right.
them. Just pick from them.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So moving on just a little bit, there's
Mhm.
this crazy title to this show. Now, I don't know if a lot of you women have been through this, but this show is called Heaux. Am I saying that name correctly?
You are. You are. Well done. A lot of people
So,
mispronounce it.
so tell everybody about your role in Heaux.
So I played Detective Roland in Whole Phase. There's the poster right there. And I just played a low down, dirty cop who is all about abusing his power. He gets what he wants, does what he wants, and nobody can tell him anything. And I had so much fun playing that character. And I remember my friend Derek Scott from the 2111 radio show. He called me up yesterday and said, Lester, I saw Whole Phase and I saw you. I didn't know you were in it. My wife recognized you and we didn't like you at all. We didn't like your character. You were just evil. And they were just really impressed that I could play that character because I'm not anything like that. So it was fun playing that. I highly recommend people check out the show Whole Phase. It's on Urbanflix right now. They're working on a season 2. Hopefully they bring me back and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. Shout out to everyone in the chat, in the comments. Shout out to Derek 2111 Radio. That's my big brother as well. So shout out to everybody that is tuning in. I see you guys. For those of you that are just tapping in and tuning in, I'm here having a ruthless conversation with Lester David Greene. Now, if you've missed the beginning half of this conversation, I suggest you make sure you return for the replay. You are missing a treat if you're just tapping in. But we're going to dive into now, again, a man of many coats, many hats, the book, the writer, the author himself. Act Like You Love Yourself. Tell everybody what Act Like You Love Yourself is about.
So Act Like You Love Yourself. It's just a book about my life and my acting career. And it talks about the ups and downs, the good, the bad, the ugly. And it's really a guidebook for people who need some direction, whether it be in real life or in acting. So it's on Amazon right now. I highly recommend it, not just because it's my book, but because there are a lot of jewels in there. So definitely check it out. Act Like You Love Yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, when I think of you giving us a book, I also think about you and your podcast. Tell everyone the title of your podcast and tell us what it's about and when we can expect to see it or hear
Yeah.
it.
So it's going, well, it started out as a podcast show, but now it's going to be a talk show. So I've
Mm,
interviewed people in person, people like Karan Joseph Riley, Nadira Nas Panky,
nice.
Tom and Karen Lambie. And so my show is about representing the underdogs. I'm trying to give a platform to the underdogs so that they can cross over to the mainstream. And I'm interviewing everyday people, regular people. It could be the bus driver, it could be the garbage man, or it could be a famous actor like Karan Joseph Riley. So I just want to create a platform for artists to be themselves, and I want to shine that spotlight on them. So the Lester Green Talk Show is directed by my dear friend Nadira Panky. She helped me produce it, and it's coming out soon. It should be on Tubi very soon. We got approved through Film Hub, so it's just a matter of when. But obviously, once it drops, the whole world will know. And I'm excited about it because I really love interviewing people. I know I mentioned it before, but I love talking to people. And that's something that I definitely want to do more of. So stay tuned for Lester Greene, the host.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it, y'all. That's the Greene Talk Show. Make sure everybody set your notifications. Make sure you got your Tubi app. Tubi is free. Come on, you guys. You cannot go without having Tubi because it has some amazing content. So the Lester Green Talk Show is going to be on Tubi. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really good. I'm telling you right now. I just need to get the right budget behind this show, and I know it could take off because I'm really good at interviewing people. Not to
Oh
pat
yes, I
myself,
can see. I can
yeah,
tell.
not to pat myself on the back, but
No,
people just seem to be very comfortable talking to me. So
right.
stay tuned.
Right. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sure everyone in the audience is definitely looking forward to it as well. Tell me about any future projects. I know we just talked about the talk show. Tell me about any other future projects that you may have coming up.
So going to be working on a feature film by Miss Michelle called Hide and Go Get It. It's a horror film. I'm excited about that. We're going to be shooting in Las
Ooh.
Vegas. Yeah, that's coming out soon. Working on a project with my boy M. Will, James Muller, called Wi-Fi. That's going to be something really good. And I'm working with Sam C and Bobby D on something coming out. That's with myself and Marcus Wilson. And then I'm working with Nadira Pankey and Andrew R. McAllister on a few projects, one specifically called Fingers Crossed.
Mhm.
So I got a lot of projects coming out. I'm trying to stay busy.
And busy you are, sir. I thank you for being able to have a little time to spend with me and we, dive in and let everybody know who you really are. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break as I set up for my next segment, which is Tika's Ruthless Ratings. And we are going to be rating Driving Force, you guys. This is something that this man is starring in. All I'll say before we get started is you literally made me mad and then cry at the same time. So
Okay.
you did your job, but we're gonna talk about it. Let me give everyone these other promos real quick, and we'll be right back.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me.
Listen, it's very rare that I am blessed to have one of the actors that is in a film, TV show that I'm talking about to come along, right along with me and talk about it with me. Like that rarely happens. So tonight, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lester Green. I appreciate you. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Driving Force. Okay, so let's come on, slide. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So it's your girl Tika Deshawn. For those of you that are just tapping in, it's Tika's Ruthless Ratings, and I'm here to talk about Driving Force. We're going to rate it at the end of this conversation. But with that being said, we have the star himself, Mr. Lester Greene. So before we dive directly into Driving Force, let me give you guys a clip of the trailer and I'll be right back.
How would you forgive a man who killed our baby?
Please, just hear me out.
Trust in the Lord. You hear it all the time, but how many of us truly do?
I want to be in prison for the rest of my life.
And you should be. You murdered that little girl. There are other things besides trust, like despair, anger, frustration, and rage.
How can there be a God if he's still alive and our baby girl is dead?
I know, just... Can we just pray, please?
You serious? What is prayer gonna do?
Your negligence took the most precious gift from us in this world.
My client is clearly filled with remorse. Can a whole person's life be erased after one terrible mistake? Because I know that my father has a lot more good to do if he just gets the chance.
You don't go to church with me anymore. You won't even step foot in Chloe's room. We're like strangers living in the same house.
But how do we push past our pain to trust in God?
But if God is supposed to know everything and see everything, why does he keep testing me like this?
We will not let the enemy distract us from our path.
Everything will work out in divine order. I'm making a choice.
I'm making a choice.
Emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it's one of those
God.
films. Yep.
So tell me, first of all, how did you become a part of this particular project, Driving Force?
So Antoine Allen and I did the short film 7 years ago, and we always wanted to do the feature film, but the timing wasn't right. So fast forward, we finally decided to just do it. We raised the money, had a lot of help from a lot of producers, and we were able to shoot the feature film. So we're already working on part 2. Dara Harper is working on the screenplay. She wrote the first one, and she's writing the second one. And shout out to Londi Maduro. She was an amazing first AD, and Sinclair was an incredible producer. Richard Malvey, Robert Yellis, Lisa Yellis, all these producers helped make this project come to light. So I'm really excited about it. The film stars myself, Jacinth Headlam, and Nakia Dillard, and so many other talented actors. So I'm so proud to be a part of this project.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you my perspective of your character, Paul.
Okay.
Initially, first of all, I love seeing the whole family unit. In our community, in our Black community, they don't display our love, our family unit. You know what I mean? We're all supposed to be single parents and raised in broken homes. And so I love that they gave us an actual family unit. Now, although tragic, the family unit was still there. So that's what I absolutely loved about the movie in a whole. Now, Paul himself, he was lost. And I hate that for him because he was such a loving individual. He loved his wife. He literally checked on her. Again, that whole Black love thing, I was with it. But then he started getting mean. He started getting angry. How did you dive in to become this character? Because you seem to be nothing like Paul. How did you dive into becoming this character?
Well, I remember as a kid growing up, my mother always made me go to Sunday school. And not that I hated going to Sunday school, but I wanted to play with my friends. So I just tapped into that mentality of being a kid and not wanting to go to church. Now, of course, I believe in God, and I always have. But as a kid, sometimes you don't realize how important God is. So I tapped into that inner childhood to bring out that different side of me, to show that, oh, I don't have time for God. My character in Driving Force didn't really want to go to church. He was only going to church just because his wife was going and his kid was going. But that was it. He didn't feel like he belonged. And so that's how I was able to tap into that part of the character. But again, this character was on a roller coaster. I cried so much filming this movie. All those tears that you see on the screen are real. So after we finished shooting that film, I was exhausted. I needed some time off. I really did. And shout out to Jacint Helam and Kia Dillard. They were phenomenal. They were so amazing.
Absolutely. I noticed as your character, your job was a bus driver. Now, you know, somebody said something a while back about they wouldn't marry a bus driver and all of that stuff. So I don't know if they realized that when they were writing his job title. I loved it though, because blue collar workers, they deserve love as well. So I absolutely love that they put that in the film. Also, your character was like the man of the community, even though church wasn't his favorite thing. But when he saw that there was something that needed to be corrected, he corrected it, especially with this young man that was on the bus. And the young lady, she got on the bus, she was pregnant, and he was like, come on now, like get up and move forward so she can, have a seat. So I love that he was, and you in some Black communities in the neighborhoods, there are those men that the younger people look up to. So I also saw that character. I saw that trait within Paul. He was somebody that was looked up to.
Yeah, it's funny because I used to drive a bus in real life. So in New York City, I drove buses for about 11 years, and then I retired, and then I became vested. And so for me to tap into that person, a bus driver, was easy because I did it for 11 years.
Right.
So what you're seeing on that screen in Driving Force is real. A lot of the stuff that happens in that film is real. It's not Lester acting or playing a part. I'm really just being myself. And I usually like playing characters like that because it just makes everything more authentic.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go to one particular moment. Now, I love this film from top to bottom. There was just one moment I wanted to see more of this young lady. I know the story, the movie, the film itself wasn't directly about her, but there was a moment where this young lady got on the bus and was talking on the phone to her mom and was like, Mom, he said he doesn't want to have the baby and he don't want a family. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so real.
That is real.
Wish I just wish that that part, her role, just a little bit more would have been dove into, just so we can see, okay, now she's made it home to her mom. What's the conversation like?
Yeah. But you know what's funny about that? I agree with that. But I remember being a bus driver and hearing all these different conversations while I'm driving the bus. And 9 out of 10 times, I don't really know how those conversations end.
Right.
They get off my bus. Those passengers get off my bus and they go and live their lives. So it's just left to my imagination to figure out, I wonder if that girl is going to be okay, or I wonder if that guy is going to be able to pay his bills. Does that make sense? So
absolutely.
As a bus driver, you don't get the full story.
Right. So it's basically the whole bus driving is just the bus driver's perspective.
That is correct.
I got it.
That is correct. Yeah, that is correct. Now, it'd be interesting to do a series or a spinoff where the bus driver is able to get more perspective and more information about these characters. That would be interesting.
Right. I got that. Now that you broken that down to me, it makes a lot more sense. Thank you for that clarification.
Nah, it's totally cool. It's totally cool. And who knows, maybe for the sequel, we'll get you in, because I noticed that you're an actor. Weren't you in a project with Tyler Perry? Did you work with Tyler Perry on something?
Yeah, I do a little background.
You do a little something. Okay, I see you out there. I see you out there. Okay.
Well, hey, I'm not saying nothing, but thank you. With that being said, now the family, like again, the family dynamic. So now we're about to take a turn for the real sad part. This baby girl, she reminds her parents, hey, we forgot to pray. And so they all get down on their knees and they pray together. Then this happens. This guy not paying attention, he wasn't paying attention. He was on his phone. He was driving drunk because he had other issues and caused, unfortunately, the life of this sweet baby girl to be taken. And the tears that mama felt, the tears that daddy felt, when I tell you, you guys definitely need to watch Driving Force, because I'm telling you, I'm a big old baby at this point. Like, I'm literally like, oh my God. And it hits home. Tragedies hit home, and you can understand, or you can kind of put yourself in the place of these characters who are feeling this sadness, who are feeling not only going from sadness, but going to anger. So how did you wind down? I know you say you took a break, but how did you literally, because you had to mentally unwind from portraying a character such as Paul, everything that Paul went through. How did you unwind from that?
I did. Normally, I just step away from acting. And now I'm starting to understand why actors won't do two roles back to back. They won't play two characters back to back, where, let's say I shoot one movie for the first 6 months of the year, and then for the next 6 months, I shoot another movie. It's not easy to play characters because you're going in so many different directions and you're digging deep into so many emotions that by the time you finish filming, you're exhausted. And so to try to do it again right after you just filmed something else, it's almost impossible. And
Right.
so I'm always telling my friends, oh, I'm exhausted. Because I remember my friend was telling me once, he said, Lester, you make it look so effortless. So we need you for this role. Why don't you just do it? And when I told him, I said, listen, I'm really exhausted. I'm tired. I just played this other character. I don't think I'm there mentally. I'm going to need some time to gather myself before I can just jump right into another project. So for me, it's just stepping away from acting as a whole. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll still watch movies and I'll still watch TV, but I'm not going to act in anything until I'm completely rested.
With that, absolutely. I totally understand that. There's a reason why they call it a break.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
for a reason. So
yeah.
definitely. Wow. Listen,
Mhm.
I absolutely commend you. I salute you for being able to dive into this role. And I furthermore salute you for being able to separate the two, reality from this character that you portrayed in this film. Now, if there was one thing about Driving Force that you want, or one message that you want people to receive from Driving Force, what would that message be?
Forgiveness. The movie's about forgiveness. Sometimes we tend to make big deals out of little things, but life is so short. People make mistakes, and I think that we need to offer people more grace. So forgiveness, that's the key word.
Absolutely. Listen, Mr. Lester David Greene, you have enlightened me. You have informed me. You made me see it through the bus driver eyes, not just a person trying to be nosy to see what else is going on in the young lady that's pregnant on the bus. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for breaking it down for us. And I absolutely recommend that everyone take some time out. It's available on Tubi, and check out Driving Force. Okay?
Definitely. Can I just give a couple shout outs?
Sure. Yes, please do.
Yeah, because I know we're winding down. We're running out of time. I just wanted to salute Ciola J. She just reached out to me. A wonderful woman, writer, director, actress. She's incredible. I want to salute Lorraine DeLuca. She's a huge supporter of mine. She's an actress. and a producer. And shout out to S. Carter Productions, Andrew Our McAllister, Nadira, and Nas Pinky, and myself just worked with her on a film called Snatch that we filmed in California. Salute to Monica Floyd and the True Visionary Media Group. We went out to California for an incredible event. I highly recommend you and everybody else check it out. They have a clubhouse every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Clubhouse called True Visionaries. Definitely check them out. And I also got to shout out my boy, Dennis Reed. I forgot to mention this. We got a new series coming out. It's going to be a Tubi exclusive. It's called Street Legal. And if you thought that my character in Driving Force was compelling, wait until you see the characters that I played in Street Legal. I'm in 2 episodes. So salute to Dennis Reed and his whole Homestead Entertainment team. It's hard to name everybody, so I tried. Yeah, there's so many people out there.
You did really well, because I would be like, wait a minute, let me get my phone so I can find everybody's name and information. Like literally.
Yeah, but thank you. I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody though. If I miss somebody, I apologize. But I love everybody who supports me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With that being said, let everyone know where they can find you.
All they got to do is go to Instagram, type in Lester Greene, that's Greene with an E at the end, and you'll see all of my pages. But thank you for interviewing me. I appreciate you and your platform, and can keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for being here. You could have absolutely been doing something else, because you are a man of busy. So thank you so much. I know there are a couple of questions that I didn't get to address, but I will definitely send them to you, and I'm going to create another video addressing the questions that I didn't get to ask. So thank you so much, Mr. Lester David Greene. I absolutely appreciate you for hanging out with me. With that being said, not just because you're so nice and kind, I am going to give Driving Force a whole 10, you guys.
Wow.
It definitely deserves a 10. If you're looking for something that's going to take you on that emotional roller coaster, and you just have to watch. I'm not going to tell you how it ends. You absolutely have to watch. This is something that's going to give you that emotional roller coaster, but I'll just say this. You're going to feel good at the very end of this movie. I absolutely recommend Driving Force, available now on Tubi, and I'm giving it a 10.
Hey! And it's free.
And it's free.
It's
that
free.
Part. Come on, y'all. All right, y'all. All right, everyone. Thank you so much again, Mr. Lester Greene. I absolutely appreciate you. I am going to take you. I hate to take you out this conversation because you've just been so amazing, but I'll take you out. And if you don't mind, a little bit later, just send me your email so that I can send you a copy of the conversation. But you know, it's gonna be everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. What's the other one? Thread. Like we're posting everywhere, because we need everyone to know more and more and more about the one and only Lester Greene.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and you have a great evening.
All right, you too.
All righty. All right, you guys, that's it. That's all. Thank you all, everyone, for tapping into this Ruthless conversation, as well as Tika's Ruthless ratings. I absolutely appreciate you. Again, I suggest you go with my 10 and check out Driving Force with Lester Greene. The cast as well is also amazing. I really, really recommend it. I know you guys will love it as well, okay? All right, y'all. That's about it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in and tapping in. And as your girl Tika Deshawn says, stay ruthless.